It's the boss.
Oh, yeah. Hey!
Hi.
How's everyone doing? Happy 2021, everyone.
Happy we made it to 2021. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
You didn't have it on your bingo card to make it.
Not my 2021 bingo card.
I think it's the free space in the middle.
Yeah. This is the Berlin Open Stage Show podcast, the Boss Podcast. I'm Trevor.
And I'm Stentor.
And this is the podcast where we usually host a live show at the Comedy Cafe Berlin and have all kinds of people who sign up to record a 1 hour podcast. It's an open stage. We let anyone on.
Yeah, Berlin personalities. Sometimes it's big celebrities. Sometimes it's just no-name people. Sometimes it's people from the comedy community in Berlin occasionally.
Exactly. And for all of last year, pretty much, except for a few instances, we've been recording episodes on Zoom due to the ongoing novel coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah, and I heard that Zoom stock shot up in the beginning of the pandemic, right?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, Zoom has become just the way that we communicate.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good time to invest, I guess, a year ago, which kind of brings us to today's show and today's host, who is very interested in the stock market. Yeah.
A lot of people who are tuning into this, some people may know more, may know less, but GameStop and the Reddit Wall Street bets have been in the news a lot lately. Like this was like the biggest news story of, I guess, last week.
Yeah, it was like Redditors versus the hedge funds.
Hedge funds. Yeah.
Yeah. Who comes out on top?
Yeah, and I didn't understand it at all. So I think in many ways I was so grateful that this guest signed up to do an episode because I figured it could be a good way to explain it, even though they're not exactly part of that particular instance.
But it seems like they know a lot about the stock market. So let's just take a listen, shall we? This is the EtsyBetsCast with Stu Diligence.
Welcome, everyone. I'm sure we've got a lot of new listeners and followers due to the recent news stories about GameStop and the Wall Street Bets subreddit. This is the EtsyBets podcast, the EtsyBetsCast, I like to call it, the official podcast of EtsyBets, the subforum of regular Etsy customers and entrepreneurs who like to share stock market tips and tricks. We've got a lot to cover tonight, but first, maybe a very quick background on who we are and what we do, since I'm sure a lot of you listeners have been hearing about Wall Street bets in the news a lot lately. You'll be hearing a lot about us too, probably any day now. We're kind of on the fringes maybe of the Wall Street bets world, but a lot of exciting stuff happening on our forum. A little background though, Etsy, as you know, is an online marketplace where you can buy all kinds of arts and crafts made by independent artists and entrepreneurs around the world. But as the site grew, so did the internal forums of the site. First, it began with Etsy/DIY and Etsy/shipping issues. Then as the site started to grow, we saw the rise of Etsy Ask Me Etsy Thing, Etsy/Etsy Explain It To Me Like I'm 5, and of course, Etsy/Am I the Ets Hole? Flash forward a couple more years, and here we are with Etsy/EtsyBets. Now, that's where I come in. I'm your host, Stu Diligence, an artisanal soup purveyor, and as you probably guessed, a moonlighting stock analyst and mod on the EtsyBets forum. I got into the Etsy the same way I got into anything. Stocks. Soup stocks, that is. A few years back, I was perusing the Etsy accounts of vintage handmade soup can labels, and I soon discovered not only was this website important to the growth of my business, it was like a family. A gang of misfits who rejected the status quo of hardened, corrupt institutions like the finance industry. So, to get this show on the road, I've invited a few of my favorite OG posters and mods, so let's introduce Timmy Nails.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Thank you, Timmy. And Egon Husk.
Hello, hey, yeah, good to be here.
And last but not least, Clarice.
Hey, guys.
Awesome. I'm so excited to be chatting with you all. Let's also just get this right off the bat. On a lot of these forums and stuff, people are posting under anonymous usernames. We are absolutely the furthest thing from completely anonymous. So let's just go around the horn and get to know each other. And Timmy, why don't you get us started?
Yeah. Thanks, Stu. I'm Timmy Nails. I'm the co-founder of Wikifeet, the database where anyone can edit and add their feed or feed of people that they have access to pictures of or any kind of information about feed, specifically, celebrity feed, but also, general interest feed. It's a growing space online and a growing community, and we are doing fundraising like always, and we perform this service. It's free of charge and will always be. So if you're able to donate to Wikifeet, then that would be very helpful in order to keep us online and keep providing you with the feed information that you need.
I love what you guys do over at Wikifeet, and I just got you kind of got into the Etsy forums kind of as a self-promotional thing. You were kind of spamming a lot, right? That's sort of how it got started for you.
Yeah. I would go to specifically people who sell socks or shoes or anything coming close to the feet, maybe some ankle length pants, and just say what would you when you put these on, what does it look like? Can you send me a photo? And then I would add that to the database, and I could also say, hey, your photo is up here. People are responding to it positively, and I gotta say, in general, very positive responses to that. People like to hear compliments and comments about how they can improve their feed as well.
Just super positive. I love it. And we'll come back to more about your sort of interest in the stock market. Clarice, you're maybe one of the more anonymous members of this forum. I feel like just sort of a shroud of mystery around you. You want to give us a little bit of introduction to yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am Clarice. That is my alias that I use on the forum. And that is because I am involved in the art world. And I just don't want my name and the name of some of my more high profile clients, which is top secret, to ever be connected, and for my activity on the forums to ever really interfere with what I do within the art world, which is where I work. So, I became a part of the community just like everybody else. I voted for Bernie in the primary, but also
just like everyone else,
like everyone did. And also, though, as kind of a part of a asset management firm where I help my clients translate their wealth into purchases of art, we just try to monitor really closely what's happening, on Etsy. A lot of those purchases are made on Etsy. So I'm just, mindful of short selling and things that could jeopardize the wealth of my clients. So I've got a kind of multi-focus on the site.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing maybe some of these art trends that some of us at EtsyBets might be able to cash in on if that's happening on Etsy. But we'll kind of come back to that for more. Sure. Egon, you are a serial entrepreneur. Is that true? And
that's correct.
Guys, I don't want to, no big deal. We've got Egon in the pod. Egon is in the pod.
Look, I like to spread the love around, and I like to jump on and, sing the gospel, so to speak, of, wealth democratization. And so I'm really, that's part of the reason. Well, the original reason, of course, that I joined the Etsy forums was to, I bought a leather keychain, and it was just not what I was expecting at all. And it was really the only place I could vent and let off some of my frustration about the awful, shitty quality of this leather keychain. So I took to posting quite frequently, and then I just started posting like a regular person. And I feel like a regular person now.
Yeah. And you've become such a frequent poster and influential poster, I should say too, that you've been known to really influence the Etsy market in some pretty significant ways. One post from you can
Two words, one post. That's it. And I'm sorry, but your pretty little handmade paper cards, down.
Crazy.
Anyway.
Yeah, so
it's great to be here.
We're happy to have you. So that's kind of the who we are, and now let's get into what we do every single day when we log on. EtsyBets. We're talking the market. We're talking stocks. GameStop. This was crazy. What was going on in your head, Timmy? Like what was going on with this GameStop stuff?
Yeah, it really shocked me. I was busy putting in some citations where it said citation needed on the info that Mila Kunis had stubbed her toe. So I had to get that link updated when I went to my newsfeed and I saw this happening, this GameStop short squeeze happening. And it really made me think, what can we do to get in on a similar thing? And that's why, I guess I reached out to some of you. We'd been messaging, and there are some interesting options for us in terms of making money and using it towards the goals that we have. Whether it is servicing your art clients or leather keychains or whatever it is. We need that cash to keep our businesses going.
Yeah. Also, we don't want to maybe paint too light of a picture. We're also interested in class warfare, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I voted for Bernie in the primary like everybody else.
Yes, exactly.
I do need to jump in. I did not vote for Bernard Sanders because he's a socialist.
As long as you're participating in the class warfare, it doesn't matter which side you're on, I guess.
Oh, exactly.
Yes, I am participating
totally cool.
in class
Big
warfare. Big tent. Yeah, big tent for me to... Anyway, it's great to be here.
As Bob Seger, once said, whose side are you on?
Well, I know who
right. And it's rhetorical. It's just something to think about. It's not really like a two sides thing. It's just like, huh.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a real world effect. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and just on the note of class warfare, if I could just really quick
please. Yeah.
Which again, I am down. We don't even have time for me to talk about how down with that I am. But also, and just because of some of the people that I represent who are also, you guys would love them. They're so cool people. But just because of a class background that some of them have, just because they're very famous, I would just say that when we're planning stuff like class war, let's also just give me a heads up so I can tell, people that I might represent, just get in the bunker, which is kind of the code word that we say, if there is going to be that kind of situation, which again, I would take part of, because that's cool with me.
Yeah. Now, Clarice, there's been a little bit of, and I'm sure that this really doesn't make you feel great, but there's always been a lot of speculation that you might be perhaps a Fed or someone,
You are so funny. Yeah, that's just a joke that everyone always has, which is funny because I voted for Bernie in the primary. So, and one of the questions.
So you're naturally opposed to the federal government if you voted for Bernie in the primary.
Of course, I mean, right.
Bernie's for states' rights, right?
Yeah, he's a real no government kind of guy.
A no government kind of guy.
Yeah.
And right. So no, of course I'm not a Fed. Okay, I get it. I'm a little tight-laced for the forum. Okay. I'm a little weird, but no, I'm not a Fed. But I do represent clients who are closely aligned with the federal government.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I think a lot of people also just assume just because Clarice, Silence of the Lambs, FBI, I think that was partially what people were assuming.
Oh, well, that actually makes more sense. I assumed it was because of my vibe, but now that you say that, I guess my alias is actually confusing in that way. And maybe I'll adopt in the future a new one.
But it's cool.
You do have the vibe of someone who a crazy person might try to assassinate the president for.
Oh,
in a good way. In a
very good way. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. I mean, I don't know what to say. Everyone's dreams of hearing something like that. So thank you.
I have to defend Clarice as well because, she couldn't really be a Fed because she has a Wikifeet page and which is, it doesn't have a lot of reliable information. But if she was a Fed, it would say under maybe controversies tab. She pretended to not be a Fed on a forum or something, but there's no such tab and no such info. For example, I recently updated Army Hammer's Wikipedia page, which of course I started to look into because I heard that he had some bunions sanded down. But, there were some controversies there, which I removed because they don't have anything to do with his feet. They do have something to do with other body parts, but not his feet.
If we could just cut I'm not saying anything about people I represent or don't represent, but if we could just cut that, all that army stuff, which was it was great, but if we could just go back and cut that would be super helpful to me. That would be just for work.
So stuff. I'm just trying to grab, because I'm gonna send this over to the editors. You want me to specifically cut the Army Hammer stuff?
Sure. Yeah.
For no particular reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
I'll make a note of that. Yeah.
Great, thanks,
and Egon, for you, so like, what's some of the stuff you on the market that's really exciting for you right now?
Just on the Etsy market, or just in terms of, because
Wall Street actually
on Wall Street, I think probably the thing I'm most excited about is PacSun. The PacSun stocks, I would say either PacSun or Clarice. I see the two of those
retail.
Just retail. They are maybe in one or two malls left in America, and that's the bets that you want. And can I tell you something else? Because those stocks are being short sold. And if we can get in and F over all the other billionaires, it's going to make me a lot more money. And so that to me would just be, because some of my neighbors, and I'm not going to name any names, but they're a bunch of assholes. And they're not creative. They sit in a big office tower and they play with other people's money. I don't play with other people. I play with my dad's money, but I don't play with other people's money.
Right. And you come from wealth.
It just rubs me the wrong way. Look, your dad gave you $10 to get started. My dad gave me $100 million. What's the difference?
Right. Yeah, I mean, but hey, like you're in again. You didn't vote for Bernie, but you're in it for the win, I think.
Well, I just believe, I believe that the people should have the power. I just don't think, not unless they work for me, then they shouldn't have the power. But if the other people who don't work for me, everyone who doesn't work for me, people should have the power, and that's just generally what I believe.
It's beautiful. I guess I can go a little bit too. I've been kind of going around the horn and I haven't contributed much in terms of my market analysis. But for me, I kind of I approach my market research not too differently than how I approach my normal work with artisanal soup making that I do. I kind of view the stock market as a giant vat of soup, and you need the right balance and the right ingredients and stuff like that. And any one company gets a little too salty, well, I don't know, that soup's gonna go down. And so companies that I'm really excited about right now, I'm really excited about sort of the. I guess I'm really excited about like Home Depot. I think Home Depot stock. I'm really excited about that run right now. How do you guys feel about Home Depot?
Do you, when you're making these kind of soups or metaphorical soups, do you sometimes make seafood soups?
Yeah, of course.
Because chowder for any. Because have you seen these kind of fish spas where you place your feet in a tub of little fish that kind of gnaw at that? Have you ever been in any of those? Or
yeah.
Because I've been trying to figure out if David Lee Roth has ever been in one, because a lot of people are saying David Lee Roth has gone into one and his feet are looking a lot better. So, if you hear anything about that kind of stuff, I hope I'm not going off topic or anything.
No, well, I a little bit off topic, but I want to say, Timmy, I invited you on because you are easily the most frequent poster in EtsyBets, but you have actually, now that I think about it, never posted about any of the Wall Street stuff that we talk about ever.
I guess not, but I mean, I am into the market as well. I've been thinking about a kind of a new gambit, which I like to call the long release. So
okay,
it's where you see a company not shorting stocks, like hedge fund, not shorting stocks, but actually buying a lot of them, and then you short the stock. So
you got to walk me through this.
So it's the complete opposite of the short squeeze.
Okay.
It's the long release. You see a hedge fund buying up a company, and then you and a bunch of your friends start shorting that stock.
Okay. And has this worked out for you?
I'm just pitching it now. I mean,
oh, okay.
I'm just trying to get on your level because honestly, it's, I do, sometimes I'll take a look at the market if you hear like, something happens, you hear like Bernie Madoff has gone to a, minimum security prison. And so, there's better access for photographers when he takes off his shoes when he's like out playing volleyball. So I try to stay, up to date with what's going on in the market like that.
I have to say it was a little bit frustrating in our conversation. We were talking about the short ladder attack going on, and the only thing that you were posting about, Timmy, was what did people's feet look like as they were going up the ladder, and I felt like you kept derailing the
I'm
conversation.
glad you brought that up. Yeah, that was a little bit. I think that made everybody a little bit uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. I'm just, always be closing APC, always be closing business, and, my business is feet.
That's a good point. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. That's actually a really good point. When we all said earlier that we voted for Bernie in the primaries, I wrote in Bernie Madoff.
Oh, that Bernie.
And I'm almost always in the minority here. And so I just wanted to circle back as we're going around the horn, kind of again to go around the horn and say, what was the last name of the person that you guys
I think I picked I don't know who I picked now. It might have been the corpse from that movie.
Oh,
the Weekend.
It
could have been him. But I'm thinking back into 2016 if I actually voted for now deceased mountaineer Edmund Hillary, who climbed Mount Everest.
But I was going to say, I voted for a St. Bernard dog. I didn't need to, but I accidentally wrote that in.
Beethoven?
Yeah. Well, I wrote St. Bernie, and I didn't realize I was voting for Beethoven.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I did write in Burning Man, actually. I was tripping on acid when I went to the polls, and that was really probably a mistake in the end, I think.
Yeah.
But now that we're all clear on that, I guess we're still all for class warfare, right? Like,
absolutely. And I gotta say, in the general, I wrote in Bernie. I wrote Bert and Ernie, and shortened it as Bernie. So in the general, I totally voted for him.
Because you know what it is? It's so hard to tick that box when you're in there. Like you're staring at the name Bernie Sanders and you think this guy represents everything that I believe, but it's just so like all the impulses and you just go, I can't do it.
I can't. Maybe next time. I just keep thinking, maybe next time. You know what I mean?
He's gonna run again, right?
He's gonna run again.
And I gotta say,
look at him. Yeah.
He rubbed me the wrong way in the inauguration. Like all the attention being paid to his hands and the gloves that he was wearing, the mittens.
Yeah, let's short the mittens seller.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't he wear like funny clogs or like sandals or something, that points, the attention downstairs?
And so, actually, while we're talking about the inauguration, we were all at the Capitol, right, on January 6th.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I was tweeting about. I wasn't actually there, but I was tweeting about it. And
okay, good.
And I was one of the people that kind of instigated the kind of the hack on Foyer, which of course is the app that you were all using to communicate with one another. So.
Right.
Sorry about that, I guess.
No problem. No, I actually, Ariel Pink is a great friend of mine, and actually how I get poppers. So I was there just to get poppers. Actually,
you because where are you based? You're based in New York.
Oh, I'm New York based. Yeah, I'm bi-coastal, but I'm.
So you went to DC to get poppers?
Yeah, well, I was just picking up for a couple different people, who are just kind of some of my clients, and then also for myself. And like I said, Ariel Pink is just like a good friend of mine, because we just both have trust funds. So we, met up and we're there, and I'm like, who are all these hot guys? And then I realized I'm in Congress. I'm inside of Congress.
Wow.
Yeah. You didn't even notice. You just, all of a sudden you just were inside.
Yeah. Absolutely. And can I just reiterate, that is exactly how it happened. So I got out of there really quickly, obviously. And I did get those poppers, and I do have any if anybody needs some. So yeah, I guess that's my only statement on that. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I was there too. I originally went just to set up a little soup stand called Stock the Steel, which was all selling soups and also giving out free financial advice. Just in the off chance that if the insurrection worked, that we need to build a new marketplace, and that I might be a good treasury secretary, potential if I'm just there. And obviously things didn't work out as planned, but
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
I was also there. I was, again, Wikifeet needs your donations. We don't get the money we need. So I was trying to make some money off merch. So I was selling some Ted Cruz shoes, just specific shoes that are, have Ted Cruz's name on it, and are, they're basically sandals as well. That, it's to make the feet visible. I don't know what kind of porn Ted Cruz has been watching. I hope it's, food related in general. But I looked on his Twitter feed, and apparently it's a woman looking around the corner into a room and being very surprised by something she sees.
Well, I would have been at the Capitol, but I'm just outside of Berlin. I'm opening up a new factory here, a new oat brand factory. So of course I couldn't be in the Capitol. I had to be here monitoring every facet of production. And
congratulations on that, by the way. That's great.
Thank you very much. Yes,
it's quite controversial now.
Well,
right?
We opened it without getting any permits, because permits are just an arm, a tool of the government, and I don't believe in government. I believe that as Ayn Rand said, you should, John Galt, business, you should just be able to do whatever you want.
So eloquent.
Yes. That famous Ayn Rand quote, business, you should just be able to do whatever you want.
I'm just don't even bother reading Atlas Shrugged. I just summarized it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. When I hear people are reading Atlas Shrugged, I go like Atlas and I shrug. I'm like, why not read the Cliff Notes?
Why not just read a business manual?
Yeah. Atlas is the main character, and he is, nonplussed about something. He shrugs.
He shrugs. That's it.
I love this conversation about Ayn Rand, because this is like what we spend so much of our time talking about on EtsyBets.
Inevitably, every conversation circles back around.
That is true. I feel like there's some kind of weird deja vu about this, but I think it's just from the forum. It's just us, right? We're all just talking kind of like we do on the forum. So, and again, just kind of in the vein of Ayn Rand, if we were going to do like another short, right? Kind of like we were talking about, when the market stops being directly connected to the value of companies, which it is all the time, and which I know a lot about in the art world, I sold a piece 2 days ago that was $2 billion, a Da Vinci painting for $2 billion. And I sold it for that because that is the cost of the painting. They're connected in that way. And so when the cost of a stock goes higher than the value of the company, isn't that like...
I don't understand. That's how I make my money. I don't really, what are you trying to say right now?
If you think about it like a Da Vinci painting, you think about all the material that Leonardo da Vinci used to make that painting, and you add all that up, and the time that he spent on it, that's got to amount to $2 billion or whatever it was. Yeah. Right. So, in the same way, a stock has to be, all the work of all the employees and all the machines and everything, and the product that they own, and that's got to be the price of the stock, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people would argue that, again, to use a Da Vinci example, that painting gained its value over half a millennium. and or more. And then for companies, like young companies, we've got ones that are valued and they're not even a year old. And maybe that's more what you're
absolutely. These should be older companies, especially using the Da Vinci example. When you go into researching, what that guy was all about, it's all about, how Jesus had a child, and that child, was buried under the Louvre or something.
And right. And what I believe you're talking about now is his code, Da Vinci's famous code.
Oh yeah. I mean, he learned to code, that guy.
And I can actually explain this phenomenon a little bit, just because as a market analyst. This is actually, so the example of a Da Vinci valuation after 600 years versus a company that's less than a year old. This is actually, these companies that are so valuable less than a year in, these are what I like to call Benjamin Button stocks. They are old companies that are just made by very young people.
Yeah.
Right. That's it. I mean, look, if people been investing in Cheerios and in cornflakes and in Raisin Bran, and then I come along, right, and I make my muesli that eats itself for you, that's a big deal. And of course that should be worth billions of dollars. Why should Cheerios be worth billions of dollars?
And a lot of people are saying that your muesli is chock full of antimatter, and that's how it's able to eat itself. It basically makes the fabric of space-time kind of collapse in on itself in the bowl in front of you.
Well, I can't talk about proprietary, ingredients.
Of course.
In my muesli,
Much like, Da Vinci would never show you his code,
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And just on the
muesli,
yeah, I just had a friend who got some of that muesli. It was Blue Ivy Carver, I guess, or Carter. I can just say her name was Blue Ivy. And she set it down, and it immediately exploded upon being set down. Do you have a comment on that at all? She was unharmed.
I just want to say I appreciate that you were able to name a client who is probably the only client who's a minor.
Oh my God. My God.
If she's shuffled off this mortal coil, I guess, all...
No, she's alive. Would you guys mind just in editing, just taking that bit about Blue Ivy out?
Yeah.
You probably will just take this whole next part out, because I do want to talk about this candidly. But, look, the bottom line is we give very clear instructions when you open up your bag of muesli that what it says right there is this cereal can eat itself for you, but don't do it. Okay. And if you choose to have it done anyway, that's not my fault anymore. Right. We give you the opportunity, but we tell you don't do that. Then look, we've done so many tests, but we can't test for human stupidity.
Blue Ivy is 7 years old, so her reading is not.
So she's stupid.
Compared to a full-grown adult, yes, right. Just an idiot. But she's she's right on par.
Compared to, for example, the woman who birthed her, she's very stupid. Whoever that woman may be, she's very stupid compared to her.
Sure. I have no comment on this. And again, I would just love if we could just kind of cut.
I had people staking out that hospital and trying to get photos of Beyonce's bloated maternity feet, but they couldn't find her. They went all through that hospital. They couldn't find her.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, real letdown. Our stock drop. We are listed. Wikifeet is listed.
You guys are public.
Yeah. WKF. We've been going steady. We've slowly been building and growing.
Yeah,
getting interest from some hedge funds.
Wow.
Quentin Tarantino bought stock.
Wow, that's incredible. Not surprised or anything based on well-documented foot fetish.
Hey, you guys, I'm so sorry to do this again, but if we could just, when you talk about Quentin, if you could just cut Quentin's name.
Could we cut his name and just put Robert Rodriguez in instead?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, somebody else, just anybody else.
Eli Roth, maybe.
No.
Oh, wow.
Okay, how about...
Todd Phillips.
Todd Phillips.
Never heard of him. That's great. We'll just take it. I don't know who that is. That's great. Thank you guys so much. I'm so sorry.
Egon, while we were talking about your other companies, you had a pretty interesting situation near bankruptcy of a company based on a lawsuit when your company Timex got sued by Timex.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you care to talk about that at all?
I mean, well, I guess I can explain to you as much as possible. Yes, I was making, it's like a cereal that looks like a little square with lots of little grids in it, and when you eat it, you're immediately transported a year into the future. And I thought, okay, this looks like checks and it deals with time. I'm going to call it Timex.
Wow.
And apparently there's already a company named, I don't know.
Yeah. Some watch company.
There's not, who wears a watch? Do you wear a watch?
You won't need to when your cereal sends you a year into the future.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, most of your cereals seem to somehow disrupt the space-time continuum.
I'm a disruptor. And I believe in disruptive technology. And, okay, maybe I don't necessarily, I'm not the one programming. And in the case of Timex, there was a guy who brought the idea to me and I said, okay, I'll give you some money to do that. And then I did a lot of marketing. Of course, that's mostly what I do.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know a lot about cereals now, but I didn't go to school for cereal. And people just know Egon Husk and they want in.
Where is that guy now who brought that idea to you? Is he in 2022?
He's dead.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
He
shuffled off this mortal coil.
Yeah, we don't need to talk anymore about that.
So we're getting kind of close to the end of the episode here. I think a lot of people who are tuning in are probably looking for some real market advice. So I figure right now maybe we can kind of make our plot for shorting some things, or we can do a long release if you want to do a long release, Timmy.
Yeah, a long release, of course. Just look at what is the stock that everybody is buying, what's going up. And, we should get together and short it. I mean, for example, if my stock goes up, if Wikifeet goes up, can we make some money off shorting it? Is that insider trading for me? I don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, you would know, I think.
Even if it is, what are they going to do? FEC.
They didn't stop me when I was sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office. So, I mean, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do now? You have her laptop anyway. Just send an email from Nancy Pelosi
by the way,
at house.gov.
By the way, not as many feet pick on Nancy Pelosi's laptop as I had hoped.
But you did get maybe the most epic feet pick of the guy putting his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
True.
That was your photo.
That was my photo, yeah.
That was epic.
Yeah. And I was going to say
that whole day was so epic.
Now that was epic.
That was so
epic.
Cool.
Okay, that was epic. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Epic's actually the name of my latest cereal that I'm developing. So sorry, we'll have to copyright this entire portion of the entire podcast.
Epic is the name of cereal?
Mm-hmm.
That's epic. That's cool.
That's right.
That's really cool.
Epic. Yeah. That's epic is going to be our slogan.
And you just copyrighted the word.
That's right. I'm allowed to do that.
So cool.
I have some advice. If I could just, so I'm obviously playing two sides here, right? Because I'm cool and I voted for Bernie Madoff. And at the same time, I represent billionaires and trillionaires who love art.
Trillionaires.
And
nice.
They exist, trust me.
Yeah.
And shout out Blue Ivy if you're listening. Please cut that after. If you are a billionaire and you're listening to this, I know there are a couple who do listen pretty regularly. You can buy paintings on Etsy, etsy.com/I'm a billionaire will take you to paintings that you could not imagine being sold on etsy.com. You can buy them. You can send them to me, and I will cryogenically seal them and drop them at the bottom of the ocean so they do not lose their value.
Wow.
And that is what I will do. And if you are poor, then you can short sell whatever you want, babe. And I wish you the best of luck. And I will be fighting alongside you in the class war. But if you are rich, I just really recommend that you reach out to me. You'll be able to find me through my actual name if you're in the know. So I don't know if that was too insider baseball trading.
I have to say, I don't want to make too many edit notes now for the editor, but
I don't think they mind. I think they like it helpful.
They want the work. People like the work, right?
Yeah.
But Clarice, unfortunately, you did just give away our secret billionaire code on the web because you said Etsy / and everyone knows backslashes in web addresses are only if you've got money.
Right. Oh my God.
That's how you get there. So I feel like we should probably just bleep that out. I don't want too many, plebes going to.
Yeah, totally. If you guys wouldn't mind, could you guys just cut me all the way out? Would that be hard at this point? Yeah, just all of it. You could, if there was some stuff that was just when I just wasn't saying anything.
You got some epic stuff in there.
Oh my God. No, I mean, we were all being totally epic.
This was a really good episode.
I mean, yeah. So, but just, I'm just a little worried. I am being texted, by Blue. So it does seem like she knows. So
wow.
My life could be in danger.
Well, we'll make a note for the editors on this one, but again, like we're all a family. That's what I love about the EtsyBets community is that we're all a family.
Absolutely. I mean, we are all a family, and that's why, Egon, since I have you in person, I would like you to stop your lawyers who keep contacting me about removing that picture of you from Wikifeet. I mean, you are holding a joint between your toes, but I still think that picture should be up there for everyone to see.
Okay, but I didn't understand it. I went on Joel Hogan's podcast for 3 hours and discovered that it felt really good. And then afterwards, my media people told me, you do not want that photo out there. And it was already out there and I regret it. And it needs to come down now. That's all that
Joe Hogan, you said.
Joel Hogan, that's right.
Joe Hogan.
You don't know who Joel Hogan is.
Joel Hogan, he's Hulk Hogan's brother, isn't he?
That's right. And he used to be a wrestler and now he's a very famous podcast host.
Yeah, okay. So we'll reach an agreement about that. I'm sure we can.
That's fine. Yeah. If I can just make one recommendation, I think the next thing that we should be short selling is Quaker Oats.
Wow. Okay.
And you mean the oats that the actual Quakers sowed when they came over on the Mayflower or whatever, because they have been Benjamin Budding for all these years.
That's exactly right. I don't mean the company Quaker Oats. I mean literal oats made by Quakers. I think we should short sell those.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great to me. I mean, I kind of, my favorite thing about the EtsyBets thing is I just follow everyone's lead. And it seems like just based on the array of people here, excluding myself, that everyone here is very powerful and a disruptor and possibly someone working as some kind of, I don't know, how would I put it, law enforcement for billionaires that doesn't quite comply to the laws of any nation.
Stu, I just want to say, even though you are the only one here who would be in financial ruin by holding the line, you have to hold the line, okay?
Oh my God,
you have to.
If you sell now.
So I did want to ask you guys about that. I'm glad we're going to get to this at the end of this. I wanted to ask about this whole hold the line thing, because again, like we've been just talking about this class warfare and like everything like that. And you guys kind of paid for my trip to go to the Capitol, and you guys have kind of been like pushing me around, and I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm a useful idiot here to some kind of scheme.
Oh my God, you are not an idiot. Do not talk about my friend like that.
No, I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys.
Well, I was happy to chip in for your trip, but I was a little bit disappointed that you didn't get all the way to AOC for her toe to see, because I really wanted that photo of AOC's toe. I mean, apparently it's great. And I was really hoping you'd pull through, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I got lost in the Capitol. I was in there for a couple of days. Kind of, like one of those fire doors kind of got shut, and they didn't open it for a few days afterwards. And so I was kind of, it's kind of crazy actually. But luckily
Did
I
you
had my
see Ben
bags
Carson?
of soup.
I heard he's just been wandering and cannot get out after the administration.
I don't know how he got my phone number, but he gave me a call and I hung up on him immediately.
He needs help. Someone's got to get him out of there.
Well, I designed an entire submarine to try to get him out, and they didn't want my submarine design.
Yeah, I mean, it's because those fucking guys who run the submarines, you know what they're like.
No, they're all pedophiles.
They're all pedophiles. That's what they are.
I'm sorry, but I take credit.
I'm sorry. Hey, guys. If you could take out any reference to pedophiles, that would be so. That would just help me so much. Sorry, I'm sorry to just voice me, but just don't. If you could just. Okay, all sorry. Right, back as you were.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're at the end of this episode, so I guess maybe we can kind of go around closing thoughts, and then we're back onto posting. I mean, at least for me, I'm going to be checking out stocks, see how the market's doing. We're recording this about an hour before the market opens. We don't want to. We got to see what happens. We can't miss a minute of this thing. Right. So, Timmy, any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, just buy WKF stock. If it's going down, buy it. If it's going up, short it. Just help in any way you can. And also, if you can, if you're on the forums, if you're on the Etsy forum, if you could reach out personally and send me some pictures of hands, I would love that, because I have a hand fetish. I'm not all business, Right. Sometimes I like to kick back and,
have fun.
Yeah, watch some fingers.
And Clarice, any closing thoughts from you?
Sure.
Anything you're excited about?
Yeah. I just want to clear. I just feels like me a little bit confused about my job. I'm not a federal agent at all. I would have to tell you at this point. I'm cool, and I think this whole thing is so cool. But I am an art dealer, which is, of course, famously an industry where the price is connected to the value. So that I'm just trying to, be in here to maintain the wealth of my clients. But then also to go to the moon with my bros, kind of separately.
We didn't get into our moon trip.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll just post pics after. We've all been tested and quarantined, so we're pretty ready.
It's been such a rough year, and I haven't really done anything to go to the moon safely with all my family.
Yeah.
The 250 billionaires to trillionaires.
2 weeks of quarantine, tests for everybody.
Absolutely. The staff there, presumably healthy. All the
hologram
moon people.
of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, hey, do you know what? Jeff's coming. He's just going to come. They're not sending the hologram. He's going to come.
That's just what he looks like.
Yeah. No, he's fine. Yeah, but and also just a broken record. But if you could we could just cut off the Jeffrey Epstein stuff because he's still buying so much art for some reason.
And Ghislaine will be, of course, hologramming from the minimum security prison where she's playing racquetball with Bernie Madoff, our future president.
Okay. I guess my final parting words is, I know we're all talking about my fail, the explosion of my bowl that will send us all to the moon. And, every step forward takes 2 steps back, and we're going to get there. Mm-hmm. The bowl, this was just a test launch of the bowl. And it was to be expected. We got a lot of great metrics, and we're going to use it. And next year to the moon, to Mars. And not for you, Stu, of course, but for the rest of us. But we're looking forward to it.
I'll miss you, Stu.
I mean, you gotta keep it going here and fight for on our behalf, in the resource wars that will come. You know, you gotta be, training for that.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm training, and in the meantime, I'm making as much money as I can selling my artisanal soups online, and I'm happy. I'm really happy, and I'm so happy to have been joined by you all. So thank you for joining me on the EtsyBets podcast. I hope anyone who is tuning in learned a thing or two about what's been going on with Wall Street. I think we offered a pretty succinct explanation over the course of this episode. I anticipate this video will get shared around as a sort of like, this is the take on Wall Street that you need to hear. Of course, however much survives the redactions, Clarice, that we'll have to make. Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone. And I just wanted to close with the usual fighting song that I post every day to start the market in the EtsyBets thing. And the EtsyBetsy spiders went up the Wall Street spout. Down came the GameStop and washed the hedge funds out. The Dow dropped to none and the NASDAQ did the same. And the EtsyBetsy spiders climbed up the spout again. Class warfare, fight
Solidarity
on.
forever.
Solidarity.
Medicare for now.
Solidarity with billionaires.
Wow, what an episode.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was fascinating.
Absolutely. I know a lot more, I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, beyond knowing more about the Wall Street bets and GameStop and stuff, I feel like I learned about pretty much, I feel like this episode covered every single topic possible.
Pretty much. Pretty much a lot of the news stories of the last few weeks and months and years.
Yeah, these people seem to have been connected to just about every big news story of the past.
Yeah, we really got to hitch a wagon to these guys because they seem to know what the deal is with everything.
But more than anything, it kind of, I think, inspired me to maybe put my money into the market. I don't know. I mean, I'm a capitalist. For
sure.
one.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there?
Yeah. Right. I mean, I didn't even go as far as writing in Bernie into to my ballot, so I don't.
I wrote in Bernie in the Icelandic general election. They count those for the conservatives.
Yeah.
We have a few people to thank. Allie, Huff, and Josh Telson.
Yep.
For some reason.
I think maybe they're they're commenters on this EtsyBets forum.
Yeah, I guess they were the people who got us through 2020 or something. I guess we have to thank them.
Yeah. And also we need to thank Bear Radio for hosting our podcasts online, as well as the Bang List for our theme song, and the Comedy Cafe Berlin, where we would usually host our live shows, but are currently closed because of the pandemic.
Maybe at some point during this year, who knows?
Yeah, but maybe we'll do a live show eventually. But in the meantime, if you want, you can donate to Comedy Cafe Berlin, and so you can just go to the website and find more information at comedycafeberlin.com.
Yeah, do it. That's it for this week, right?
Yeah. And more episodes to come.
Bye.
Berlin. It's the Berlin Open Stage Show. Berlin. It's the Berlin Open Stage Show. It's the boss.
It's the boss.
Oh, yeah.